realized the moment I fell into the fissure that the book would not be destroyed as I had planned. It continued falling into that starry expanse of which I had only a fleeting glimpse. I've tried to speculate where it might have landed. I must admit, however, such conjecture is futile. Still, questions about whose hands might one day hold my MYST book are unsettling to me. I know my apprehensions might never be allayed, and so I close, realizing that perhaps the ending has not yet been written.
Hello everyone, got some MYST here today. I'm really glad that this became available on PlayStation. Um, it's been on everything else, but, so that's nice. They also put Riven on, so that's pretty good too. I played MYST when I was 8 years old in 1993, and I played that on a Panasonic 3DO. I still have, but you don't play it. I beat that game multiple times. It was fascinating. Fascinating game, Played it alone, played it with friends, watched friends, just let friends play it. They were mesmerized by it. Just a fun game. Great hypercard game. Excellent puzzle game. In a nice, kind of, a story that is intriguing, but it's not overbearing, right? It's not really, it's just not too much, it's fun. It's fun, and again too at the end, you are left, with some questions too that you would, hopefully maybe get answered later on. But it's definitely a classic game. I did a quick comparison of the 3DO version to the PlayStation 1 version, and I don't. It's funny because I don't remember the 3DO version like looking like that. But that's what our brains do, right? Especially with old games, like when you're playing them, your imagination, right? You fill in for maybe the poor graphics back in the day, or just just the limitations, what we were at for it. Like 16-bit, 32-bit games, you think your brain filled things in. You just use your imagination, right? It was a lot of fun. But yeah, this PS1 version actually looks like markedly better than the 3DO version. But like whatever, it's cool. I love my 3DO version too. But this will be fun to play. Real quick. I think we probably have to change up an option here. Let's go with fastest transition, right? That seems good. But yeah, this game was so much fun. I've never played Riven. Like the only game I've ever played is just MYST, in the entire like ran in the entire like Miller Brothers universe. Like So I'm actually, looking forward to playing Riven. Um, yeah, I'm not going to play this. This playthrough is gonna be like a simulation of just playing it naturally, not you know. I mean, I don't remember like any of like accessing like the mechanical age right in front of us. Like I don't remember like the 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 time on the clock right on the other end of the island that would open up that age, the linking book to that age, right? I don't like no, I don't remember the time. Like, is it like 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock? Right, I don't remember the time. So, and I'm not gonna look it up. So we're just gonna play this game naturally. I mean, like I remember what to do. Like I know how to solve the puzzles, right? But I don't remember, obviously the details of the puzzle, like the piano in the rocket age, or in the rocket ship for the Atlantic age. Like I don't remember like the keys, or the positions of the dials or whatever. Like so we're gonna just enjoy this game as it was, and then like anecdotally, just talk about what it was like playing it all those years ago. Uh, so yeah, first off too, like we're not gonna go into there, because I think too, like most of the time, most people we will flip these switches. Most of the time, people don't see that. I mean, like I didn't as a kid. Right off the bat, I did not see the entrance to the four chamber. So you come up here, you're looking around, you flip the switch. And it's like, it doesn't do anything. What the heck? You're intrigued. You probably take a look at the sunken ship. Yeah, but then you do. You come up here. What's this? And Catherine, I've left for you a message of utmost importance in our fourth chamber beside the dock. Enter the number of Marcus switches on this island into the imager to receive the message. Retrieve the message. Yours, Atris. Like it's just so much fun. Like what? And then you the thing, right? And then you sort of like, what do you mean next to the dock? Here, we'll come up here quick though, and so then as a kid, right? you come running, you come running back down here as fast as you can click the button and get it over there. And then you see it, you're like, oh, what? And now you're like, oh, well, this is so weird because again, you're seeing like those sort of cogs up there, and you're like, well, what is this? And then you've got these switches that seem like pretty modern, but then you've got classical architecture, right? Um, like a wooden ship, right? Uh, you sort of like what? And I mean, I don't know when you like open like a technological door, right? Like a sliding door, like secret rooms, and you come down here and there's technology. Well, now things change, especially too. I guess if you didn't open the door into the um the star star room, the planetarium, the planetarium. Uh, then yeah, I mean, like then you wouldn't have seen any sort of like really modern technology, or two, if you didn't go and see the rocket ship, uh, you still would think like, oh, what's going on here? And I remember that was for me. That's what happened. Uh, so here we go, right? And then you look at this, and you're like, what? You got these numbers next to it, and then you see like, turbulent water. That's like what was going on right there that we turned off. Because as a kid, you click that switch, you're like, what is this? And then you come over here, you see it, and you're like, what the? And you see this, you click it. then it's like, oh wait, wasn't that number 67? And you're like, the other one was that. Because you remember, like, the marker switches, like the diagram, I don't know what they are. And then you're like, oh. Good times as a kid. But yeah, you come back, you check it out, you check out the topographical. Oh, that messed with like the sound there. Oh, wasn't it 60? Oh, my bad. We got it wrong? Haha, I got it wrong. Beautiful. Ah, 40. My bad. See. Or was I fit? Wait. Yeah. Alright, 40. That's what I thought. It's pretty cool. Now you know we're counting all the markers now. We could just enter in the number, but let's get our first little run through of the island. You know how you naturally would do it. And we'll flip them all on too. And of course you'd come in here, you'd poke around, I remember messing around with those paintings for the first time. We're not going to do that though. We will hear what the brothers have to say.
Live. Bring me a red. I can't see. Need a red, you must. Bring. I beg, bring. Shh. Help. I am serious. Give it up. There's one thing I know. Serious? Is that you? Who are you? See you. You know. Help me. Bring blue pages. Never and ever. Pages. I must have the blue page. Bring them to me.
Red and blue pages for the brothers. Yeah, you know, back in the day, you know, you'd look at this. Tower rotation. You might mess with it. But I'm not going to go to mechanical right now. But yeah, you know, back in the day, you wonder about the brothers. Like, I remember as a kid, you know, the basic thing was like, well, Cirrus was in red. And you sort of, you know, associated red with bad, right? So, the first time through, Aknar was the one we went with, like, with the blue pages, so, you know. And I was like, I'm gonna do the red pages. No. Alright. You know, I've played some Myst, like of the modern Myst, some of those modern Myst games on PC and other consoles, and there's one of them, I don't recall which one, but it significantly reduces the forest here, like the travel time. And I didn't I didn't really appreciate that because the forest here on the island is, you know, for being so small to call it a forest, but it is. Uh, you know what I mean? It's like it's nice, it's fun. It's fun that it takes a few of those cards to get through. Here's our puzzle. Here's our 8th. Switch. Yeah, see how, you know, like, look how long it takes to get through there back to this courtyard area. In one of the ones where you just, you know, it's like, you know, you use, like, first-person controls. You know, that forest is non-existent. I don't know. It detracts from, you know, the island, what the island initially, you know, was in that vision. So yeah, I don't know. I disagree with it. I disagree with that choice. Does it make it, you know, quicker to navigate? Sure, absolutely. Is that like a streamlining thing? Sure. But is it absolutely necessary? I don't think so. Alright. 7 out of the 8 switches flipped. Oop, wrong. See, yeah, that's weird.
Something terrible has happened. It's hard for me to believe. Most of my books have been destroyed. Catherine, it's one of our sons. I suspect Achenar, but I shouldn't leap to conclusions. I'll find him and Cirrus as well. Oh, I should have known better than to have left my library unchecked for so long. Well, I've removed the remaining undamaged books from the library and placed them in their places of protection. You shouldn't have to use the books until I return. But if you've forgotten the access keys, remember the tower rotation. Oh, and don't worry, Catherine. Everything will be fine. I'll see you shortly. Oh, wait, and erase this message after you've viewed it, just to be safe.
Well, we've gotten the message instead of Catherine, it appears. But now, you know, I mean, like, you should know, like, not to trust them, right? But, like, you don't, right? But you're with him, like, oh, should Achenar? I don't know. I shouldn't jump to conclusions. So, we will just, come back here and get the solution to the clock tower. Mm. There, my bad. Huh. So I really like this hallway. Oh, I love it. I saw that wood and the lighting. It's got like a David Lynch Dune feel to it, you know, like this. Just, oh yeah, I don't know. I like that. I've always loved it. Like this really always gives you a nice feeling of motion. And it's all accurate too. Right? Like what that elevator is doing in terms of like, you know, like the space which you traveled from the entrance right through the hallway to the elevator. Right now we're at the top of the mountain. Alright, let's come take a look. The soundtrack too of this game is excellent. Yeah, so now we know, like, okay, we're aimed at the mechanical age, right? And then the key, the solution, right? So the linking book side, right? This is what we're linking to, and this is how you get to it. Like, you know, again, very excellent, intuitive puzzle solving. So 240, and then 221 is the other combination to actually open up the mechanical age. You know, it's interesting, again, like highlighting this soundtrack, because soundtracks are always just excellent. They really make like a movie or a show or a game or whatever it may be. You know, obviously, if the intention is not to have a soundtrack, example for a film, the Blair Witch Project. That's one of my favorite like horror movies. that doesn't have a soundtrack per se. There is some licensed music, I think, in a few of those early scenes, but in the bulk of that movie, in the forest, there is no soundtrack. But like the credits, like the end credits, have like a soundtrack. So it's always interesting to know that this game's soundtrack, initially, the Miller Brothers did not want to have a soundtrack. They just wanted atmospheric, right? Natural sounds, and I think that's very interesting, you know. But then eventually, you know, they sort of, you know, they were sort of suggested to do it. I mean, I don't know how much like I don't think the publisher was like trying to twist their arm. I think it was just a suggestion, and then they kind of went with it, and then after realizing that it was cool, like yeah, like that it worked, that it actually added to it, yeah, like, and that's sort of the thing. Like it's nice if things are atmospheric, like the Blair Witch Project, right? Like that calls for that. But like this game, this game only benefited from the soundtrack, so I always find that funny. Oops, don't want to do that either. That's what I want to do. Actually, though. So here's what we'll do. My bad. Oop. So we know 240, 221. But the age I went to first as a kid, it was just seemed natural. I don't know. What's Channelwood age? So that's where we're going. We're gonna go in the order I went as a kid. You know. Oops. Did it again. So let's see here. Let's see what the combo to the safe is. So again, we'll just take a look. Excellent. You know, no mistaking it. Seven 2-4. All right. We'll just take a look at the Channelwood book here. Have a nice little read of it. It's a good one. I mean, they're all good. We'll just, yeah, read them before the age. Alright. We'll just read the Channelwood book here before we go to Channelwood. I call this age the Channelwood, and it is a very different world. Though it is exactly how I imagined it, it is still amazing to see it with my own eyes. Water covers this age as far as I can see, except for a small rocky island. Elsewhere, there are only trees, which grow directly out of the water. A myriad of thin wooden passageways are built just above the water and disappear into the forest. I assume they were built some time ago, for they appear aged. I am eager to discover more about this land and its people, but I have arrived here late, and I must rest. I was awakened this morning by strange noises coming from a pathway adjacent to the one on which I had slept. I saw a group of monkey-like people heading in my direction. They had not seen me yet. I did not feel threatened by their presence. Their response to me was one that I would never expected. After staring at me for a short time, they fell to their knees and began what appeared to be some sort of ceremonial worship. I tried to speak to them, but they did not understand my language. Instead, they indicated through enthusiastic hand motions that I was to follow them. As we walked, I began to notice that the waters below us were changing colors. Slowly, uh, s- subtly, slowly, subtly, they would change from deep blue to muddy orange, then from muddy orange to beautifully clear. I was so intrigued by the water, I hardly noticed that we had arrived at the ladder. Climbing the ladder led us to their village, which is about 10 meters above the water and can only be reached by rope ladders that stretched from the from the lower paths to the village level, approximately halfway up the grand trees. It is very interesting watching these people carry out their daily tasks. Even after watching them for hours, I did not understand exactly what they were doing. At sunset, they motioned for me to follow them. I followed the creatures to the doorway of an enormous hut. Strangely, once inside, I found that the hut appeared even larger than it had from the outside. The walls were garnished with bright metals, and in the center of the hut sat the leader of these people. At least he appeared to be their leader, for he sat a meter off of the floor in a thick throne. Guards surrounded the strong creature, who was dressed in many exotic colorful fabrics. Next to the leader sat a very old human. At least to some extent he appeared human. His hair, which was only on his face and head, was completely gray, almost white, and hung very long around his frail body. His thin head hung limply by an almost grotesque neck that could not hold its head up to look at me. But what a surprise! Shortly thereafter, I was given a bed with some hand motions that looked to be telling me to go to sleep. I look forward to learning more. As I suspected, the ancient creature is a human, but he is old beyond his own reckoning and seems almost insane. However, the tree dwellers almost revere him as a god. They are treating me now in that same fashion, which makes me feel very uncomfortable. It is almost impossible to understand this old man. His voice is feeble but wild. He has adopted much of the language of the tree dwellers. He himself told me he had not spoken his own language in ages. He attempted to explain to me the history of this place. The following is my best translation of what he had told me. Many years ago, the humans and tree dwellers lived together in this place, which was then a vast island. They interacted very little as humans dwelt on the ground, and the tree dwellers lived high above the humans. Occasionally, the island was disturbed by mysterious rumblings, which happened randomly, some sort of tectonic or volcanic action, I suspect. The sometimes slight, sometimes heavy tremors would only last a short time. Then they would stop, allowing everything to return to normal. One day things changed. The rumbling began and grew quickly at unprecedented levels, or to unprecedented levels. Soon it became apparent that the entire island was sinking slowly into the ocean around them. Many of the humans died that day, but not before sacrificing themselves in order to stop the sinking of the island. The humans who lived through this catastrophe moved into the trees, where they gradually died out, maybe because they were unequipped for such an environment, but I am not sure. This is the story the old man communicated to me, although many details are very unclear in my mind. I am especially confused as to how the humans saved the island from completely sinking. In fact, I doubt the accuracy of that part of the story. The island must have stopped on its own, yet the old man believes in the truth of the story as if he had been there, and the tree dwellers worship him, and apparently all humans, as if they were heroes or gods. The old man ended our conversation today with an event which I will never forget. He began gripping my hands tightly, murmuring something about rest and sleep. He then said, "We had expected you to come sooner." These actions filled me with a sort of immediate dread. With much effort, he stood to his feet. I tried to help, but he pushed me away with more force than I had imagined his frail body contained. The tree dwellers quietly surrounded him with very solemn faces. They then kneeled before him. He walked to each and placed his hand on their heads. All the while he murmured words which I did not understand. Finally, he turned to me and smiled. Then he closed his eyes and walked out the door and off of the narrow path high in the trees. The tree dwellers were silent. They began a procession down the nearest rope ladder. As I was descending, I saw several of them pick up the body. He had fallen onto a lower level of walkway and carry it away. He was laying down at the dead end of a short pier-like structure. With the use of some potion, one of the tree creatures lit the pyre on fire, and I watched as the flames engulfed him. As this strange funeral proceeded, the waters around the pier changed to dull green. This morning I awoke, finding it hard to even believe the previous evening's events. The water is a dull green for as far as I can see now. For some reason, the water no longer shifts color. As I wander throughout the pathways, the creatures watch me, curious to see what I will do next. They are constantly offering me strange objects of affection. I even found food outside the doorway to the room in which I had slept. This is a unique race of beings. I hope to learn their language soon, as that I may learn more from them. I have lived on this world for 3 months, off and on, and the tree dwellers have shown great hospitality. I'm even beginning to learn bits of their language. I have decided to return home for an extended stay with my loving wife and my sons, and hopefully return with them. However, I am sure Catherine will once again refuse. I think this age would be a wonderful experience for them all, and I at least look forward to how Sirius and Achenar will react to its curious inhabitants. Catherine is staying behind, as expected. My sons have returned with me, and they enjoy this age very much. They get along very well with the tree dwellers, and are picking up their language surprisingly fast. I have no doubt it will not be too long until they can speak with the tree dwellers much better than myself. I am leaving tomorrow to check on as Asmodean age, as Osmodean age. Sirius has suggested that I allow him and his brother to stay. Though the idea unsettles me, I know the boys are growing up rapidly. The hospitality of these creatures is such that I can think of no better place to leave them alone for a short while, so I will consent to their request. I warn the boys not to take advantage of the respect the tree dwellers have for their ideas. They seem to understand my warning, and I have faith they will follow it. Much to my dismay, upon arriving in Everdunes, I learned that Prawn and her people are continuing to be menaced by the Chok Chokchik. I fear for their survival, and plan on returning to her shortly after checking on Cirrus and Achenar. Here, see Everdune's journal for more information. After watching Cirrus and Achenar, I see they are handling things very well, and I think I can put to rest my fears about leaving them in Channelwood again, and for a little longer. The tree dwellers seem slightly distressed that I am leaving, but are happy Cirrus and Achenar are staying behind again. I have been gone for over 3 days, and have been to many different places. I had to tell Cirrus and Achenar about Prawn's death today, and they were, well, is it Pran or Prawn? See, you know what? I'm gonna go with Pran, actually, to be completely honest. Told, yeah, we'll start over. I had to tell Cirrus and Achenar about Pran's death today, and they were visibly shaken, although they only remembered her from their childhood. Catherine has suggested that it would be wise for Cirrus and Achenar to leave Channelwood for a while, and I have to agree. They will be returning with me when I leave again. I have told my sons that they will be returning with me in 2 days. They spent the entire night telling me of an adventure they experienced in my absence, and it was rather remarkable. It seems they constructed a boat with the creatures and traveled some ways out into the surrounding waters. I enjoy hearing them talk excitedly of their adventures, and it reminded my own adventures as a child. I finally understand why the tree dwellers have been giving me their many inks and insisting I write with them. Looking through some of my past entries, I see, I see, I see more that the inks. I see now that the inks have changed from the black I thought they were to various different colors. I have shown some of the creatures my journal, and they laughed and howled. I did not know they had such a sense of humor. Even now, as I look through this very colorful journal, I cannot help but laugh myself. We will be returning tomorrow, so my sons are with the creatures for the last night here. They have told me they would like to come to Channelwood again, and also asked if they can visit some other ages alone. Though I will have to think over their request, I believe they have proven to me that they are trustworthy and responsible. Catherine will also have to help me decide whether they are ready for travel alone. For now, I must give my farewells to the creatures, for I do not know how long it will be until I visit the sage again. These are the little diagram of the village and some sketches of it. Pretty cool. Alright, well, now. Alright, 240, 221. We're just going to open up the mechanical age for afterwards. And then 724 for the save combo. Okay, so let's see. Is that the is that the hour hand? Nope, that's the minute hand. Alright, makes sense. Alright, so we're on 10, so oh, that's interesting. What? Okay, that little outline that was around that? That was not in the 3DO version. That's interesting. Why is that in this version? Alright, all switches flipped. Now, we gotta get 221 on this. See, I don't remember how this fully works. Ah, bam. Gotcha. Alright, cool. Well, there's that. Oh, I love that music. That music's just cool. Ah. See, I love this, you know, like, oh, you gotta open the matchbox, and you take one out, and then you actually gotta strike, you know, like, on the actual striker. Love it. Things like that when you're 8 years old in a video game, right? It just, you know, you think that's the coolest thing ever. Alright, got the pilot light lit. Wrong way. Okay, well, let's let that thing go up. Alright. That should be enough. Now we gotta be kind of quick. Ah! Alright. I mean, it's not that bad. It doesn't take that long. Oh, oh. And you get to, like, the puzzle of it, right? Like, oh, showing you something. And then, oh, it's right next to this. And then you hear it. And yeah, you know. Okay, so that thing's all the way at the top. Ah! So this will kill you. Yeah, we got it. Alright, Channelwood age. bam, here we are. Alright. And there it is. Look at that, too. I mean, again, so like, oh, what's that? Like, yeah, you probably want to investigate it. It's showing you everything, right? It's pretty much showing you everything. Now, look, there's the elevator. There are the stairs to come down. With the other, yep, it even shows you, like, you're gonna do that to gain access. That's very interesting. See, yeah, this game will get ingrained in your brain. Like, especially when you play it when you're a child. There are just things you won't forget. With that said, though, we're running out of time with the limits to this particular console's, editor. And, yeah, we'll just pick this up right here in the next video. So, hope you enjoyed this. Stand by. We'll take care of the Channelwood age.